The sky turned dark over New York City as the massive Zentari battleship moved into position. Its shadow cast the city into an artificial night. People stopped in the streets, looking up with fear and wonder. Cars halted, and office workers pressed against windows to see the alien vessel that blocked out the sun. Alex Carter watched from the roof of the Earth Defense Coalition headquarters. At 35, the former Special Forces operator had seen many things, but nothing like this. The ship above them was at least 3 miles long, shaped like a curved blade. Its dark metal surface reflected no light. Impressive, isn't it? Doctor. Samantha Wright joined him at the edge of the roof. Her red hair blew in the wind as she handed him a tablet showing the first scans of the alien vessel. That's one word for it, Alex said. His blue eyes narrowed as he studied the images. How many weapons do they have pointed at us right now? More than we can count, Samantha said. Our systems can't even identify half the structures on that ship, but they're definitely not here for a friendly chat. The Zentari had arrived 3 days ago, positioning their fleet just beyond Mars. This was the first ship to approach Earth directly. Humanity had colonized Mars and several moons in the solar system, but had never encountered intelligent alien life until now. Alex's phone buzzed with a message from General Paul Martinez. Emergency meeting. Now. 20 minutes later, Alex sat in a conference room with Earth's top military and scientific minds. General Martinez stood at the front, his face grim. They've made contact, Martinez said, and it's not good news. The screen behind him showed an alien face. The Zentari looked almost human, but with purple-tinted skin, no visible ears, and eyes that were completely black. This one was female, with a ridge of small spikes where hair would be on a human. I am Commander Valra of the Zentari Empire, the alien said in perfect English. Your planet has been selected for incorporation into our realm. Consider yourselves fortunate. Most species serve as labor. Humans show promise as personal servants due to your adaptability. The room erupted in angry shouts. Quiet, Martinez yelled. There's more. The message continued. We require your leaders to meet with our delegation tomorrow at your United Nations building. Prepare to discuss the terms of your service. Resistance would be unwise. The screen went black. They're calling us slaves, someone muttered. Why did they pick English? Another asked. They've probably been watching us for years, Samantha said. Learning our languages, studying our weaknesses. General Martinez cleared his throat. The Security Council has agreed to the meeting. We need to buy time while our forces prepare defense options. Alex spoke up. Sir, I'd like to be there. Martinez looked skeptical. Why you, Carter? You're a security consultant, not a diplomat. I've dealt with hostile negotiations before, Alex said. And I can read people, even alien people. Plus, if things go bad, you'll want someone with my background in the room. After the meeting, Alex found himself in Samantha's lab. The scientist had been working nonstop analyzing the limited data they had on the Zentari. Look at this, she said, pointing to a 3D model rotating on her screen. It showed a Zentari skeletal structure. They're stronger than us, probably 3 times human strength. Their reflexes might be faster, too. Any weaknesses? Alex asked. Maybe. Their eyes suggest limited peripheral vision. And this structure here, she pointed to a part of the neck, might be a nerve cluster, but it's all guesswork until we see them up close. Tomorrow we will, Alex said. The next morning, the world watched as the Zentari shuttle landed on the lawn of the UN headquarters. News cameras broadcast the event globally. 6 tall figures emerged from the craft. The Zentari delegation stood nearly 7 feet tall, each wearing fitted black armor that seemed to absorb light. Commander Valra led them, her posture proud and militant. Inside the Security Council chamber, representatives from every major nation waited nervously. Alex stood against the wall, watching carefully as the aliens entered. He noticed how they moved, fluid but heavy, their weight causing the floor to vibrate slightly with each step. Lisa Rodriguez, the chief UN diplomat, stood to greet them. Welcome to Earth. We hope to establish peaceful relations between our peoples. Commander Valra did not sit. She looked down at the human representatives with what appeared to be disgust. "Peace is available through submission," she said. "The Zentari Empire spans 12 star systems. All member species serve according to their capabilities. Humans will serve as personal assistants and household managers. Your intelligence makes you valuable, though your physical form is weak." The chamber grew tense. Alex observed how the other Zentari positioned themselves around the room, a tactical formation that gave them clear lines to every exit. "We are not servants," the American representative said firmly. "Earth is willing to establish trade and cultural exchange, but we will not surrender our freedom." Valra made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Freedom is an illusion for lesser species. Under Zentari rule, you will have purpose. You should be grateful." "May I speak?" Alex stepped forward, ignoring the surprised looks from the human delegation. Valra turned to him, her black eyes narrowing. "Who is this?" "Alex Carter, security advisor," he introduced himself calmly. "I'm curious about something. If humans are so weak, why do you want us as servants? Surely there are stronger species in your empire." The commander studied him. "Physical strength is only one measure of usefulness. Humans adapt quickly. You learn. You problem solve. These make you valuable servants." "Not servants," Alex corrected. "Potential allies." Valra stepped closer to Alex, towering over him. Everyone in the room could feel the tension. "You speak boldly for a species that has not left its own star system," she said. "Perhaps a demonstration is needed." She turned to address the entire council. "To show the difference between our peoples, I propose a challenge. Your best warrior against me in unarmed combat." The room fell silent. "If your champion defeats me," Valra continued, "we will consider an alliance of equals. If not, Earth submits immediately." Before any of the officials could respond, Alex stepped forward. "I accept." "Carter," General Martinez hissed from across the room. "Stand down." "You?" Valra looked at Alex with amusement. "You are their champion?" "I am," Alex said confidently. Valra studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Very well. Tomorrow at noon, a suitable arena will be prepared." She looked around the room. "This human slave doesn't know his place. I will teach him, and your world, the natural order." As the Zentari delegation left, everyone surrounded Alex. "What were you thinking?" Martinez demanded. "Giving us time," Alex replied calmly. "And a chance to learn more about them." "She'll kill you," Samantha whispered. Alex shook his head. "No, she'll try to beat me. There's a difference." He looked at the door where the aliens had exited. "And that's exactly what I'm counting on." That night, while the world prepared for what might be its last day of freedom, Alex reviewed every piece of footage of the Zentari. He studied their movements, their balance, the way they carried their weight. He met with Samantha to discuss his observations. "You noticed something?" she said, watching his face. "Maybe," Alex replied. "But I'll need more data." He looked up at her. "Tomorrow I need you watching with scientific eyes. Every move she makes, every reaction, I need to know immediately." "You have a plan?" Alex stood up, stretching his muscles. "Step 1 is to survive long enough to find her weaknesses. Step 2 is to exploit them. And if there aren't any?" Alex smiled slightly. "Everything that lives has weaknesses, Samantha. The trick is finding them before she finds mine." Morning came too quickly. Alex woke in his small apartment near the Defense Coalition headquarters. He had slept surprisingly well for a man who might be facing his last day alive. His phone showed hundreds of messages and missed calls, but he ignored them all. He went through his usual routine: 50 push-ups, a cold shower, and a simple breakfast of eggs and toast. As he ate, he watched the news. Every channel showed the same thing: the Zentari battleship hovering over New York and smaller footage of Commander Valra. A special arena had been built overnight in Central Park. The Zentari had provided some of the materials, strange metals that their workers had shaped with tools humans had never seen before. The arena was circular, about 100 feet across, with high walls to protect spectators. Alex's phone rang. This time he answered, "You still plan to go through with this?" It was Kyle Bennett, his old friend from their military days. "Not much choice now," Alex said. "The whole world knows about the challenge." "I know what you can do, Alex," Kyle said. "But these aliens, they're something else. No one would blame you for backing out." "I would," Alex replied simply. "See you after." He hung up and finished his breakfast. Then he opened a small wooden box on his shelf. Inside was a worn leather bracelet, a gift from his grandfather. Alex rarely wore it, but today felt right. He slipped it on and headed out. The streets were eerily empty as his escort took him toward Central Park. People were either hiding in their homes or already at the arena, waiting to see if one human could save their planet from servitude. When Alex arrived, he was taken to a small tent. General Martinez and Dr. Wright were waiting for him. "Final chance to reconsider," Martinez said, though his tone suggested he knew Alex wouldn't. "What have you learned?" Alex asked Samantha instead of answering. She pulled out her tablet. "We've been analyzing every frame of footage. Their center of gravity is higher than ours. Their armor appears to be lighter around the joints, probably for movement. And that structure in the neck I mentioned, I'm almost certain it's a nerve cluster." Alex nodded. "Good. Anything else?" "They turn their whole head to look sideways. I think their peripheral vision is poor, like I suspected." "Perfect." Alex began, stretching his muscles. A loud horn sounded outside. "It's time," Martinez said grimly. "The president asked me to tell you that no matter what happens, you've shown incredible courage." Alex nodded. "Tell the president I appreciate it, but I'm not planning on losing." As Alex walked into the arena, the crowd fell silent. Thousands of people filled the seats, and billions more watched on screens around the world. At the center stood Commander Valra, now dressed in fitted combat armor that left her joints exposed. Without her full battle gear, she looked slightly less imposing, but still towered over most humans. Admiral Zorvik, the Zentari fleet commander, sat in a special box with various world leaders. His expression was unreadable, but his posture suggested confidence in his warrior. Lisa Rodriguez, the UN diplomat, stood to address the crowd. Today's contest follows the agreement reached yesterday between Earth's representatives and the Zentari delegation. The rules are simple: unarmed combat until one fighter submits or is unable to continue. If Earth's champion wins, the Zentari will recognize humans as equals and offer alliance. If the Zentari champion wins, Earth will accept the terms of incorporation into their empire. Alex took his position across from Valra. Up close, he could see details in her purple-tinted skin. It was thicker than human skin, almost like fine scales in certain places. "Human," Valra addressed him directly, "you may still withdraw. There is no shame in accepting natural order." "I'm good," Alex said simply, "but thanks for the concern." Valra's black eyes narrowed. "Your species' overconfidence is puzzling." Zentari official stepped forward with what appeared to be a ceremonial weapon, a staff made of the same dark metal as their ships. He struck it against the ground, creating a resonant tone that silenced the crowd. "Combat begins," the official announced, stepping back quickly. Valra moved with surprising speed. She covered the distance between them in 2 long strides and swung a powerful fist toward Alex's head. Had it connected, it might have killed him instantly, but Alex wasn't there. He had already slipped to the side using a simple defensive movement that wasted no energy. Valra adjusted quickly, launching a series of strikes that would have overwhelmed most opponents. Alex avoided each one, sometimes by mere inches. He made no attempt to counterattack, focusing entirely on defense and movement. 5 minutes passed this way. Then 10. The crowd began to murmur. They had expected a quick end to the fight, with either their champion being destroyed or performing a miracle. Instead, they watched a strange dance where the human simply refused to be hit. "Stand and fight," Valra growled, frustration evident in her voice. "This evasion dishonors both our species." Alex remained silent, conserving his breath. His eyes never stopped moving, watching how she transferred her weight, noting which attacks came faster than others, identifying patterns in her combat style. In the stands, Samantha was documenting everything on her tablet. "He's studying her," she whispered to General Martinez. "Classic Alex. He did this in training too." 15 minutes into the fight, sweat poured down Alex's face, but his breathing remained controlled. Valra showed no signs of fatigue, but her attacks had become more aggressive, less precise. "Your people watch you hide like a prey animal," she taunted. "Is this the strength of Earth's best warrior?" Still, Alex said nothing, continuing his careful movement around the arena. Admiral Zorvik leaned forward in his seat, his expression changing from confidence to curiosity. This was not proceeding as expected. 20 minutes into the match, Valra launched a powerful spinning kick that would have shattered Alex's ribs. He ducked under it and, for the first time, moved inside her guard. He was close enough to strike, but instead he simply stepped away again. This finally broke Valra's composure. "Enough!" she shouted. "You are a coward, a perfect example of why humans deserve servitude. Strike me if you can." For the first time since the fight began, Alex smiled slightly. The change in his expression was subtle but noticeable to everyone watching closely. "I was just studying your weaknesses," he said calmly. "You have exactly 3. Now I'll end this." Valra's expression shifted to confusion, then renewed anger. She charged forward, determined to crush this arrogant human. In the stands, Kyle Bennett leaned forward. "Here it comes," he whispered to himself. "The real Alex Carter." From the VIP box, Admiral Zorvik felt a sudden unease. Something had changed in the human's stance, a subtle shift that the Admiral, with centuries of combat experience, recognized immediately. The prey had become the predator. Valra launched what should have been a devastating attack. Her right fist came forward with enough force to shatter concrete. Alex moved, and the real fight began. Time seemed to slow down for everyone watching. Valra's powerful strike cut through the air toward Alex's head. For 20 minutes he had done nothing but avoid her attacks. Everyone expected the same dodge. Instead, Alex stepped forward. He moved into the punch, not away from it. His right hand came up in a precise movement, deflecting Valra's wrist just enough that her fist passed by his ear. In the same motion, his left hand struck upward toward the side of Valra's neck. His fingers pressed into a specific spot where Samantha had identified a potential nerve cluster. The effect was immediate. Valra's left arm went limp, her eyes widening in shock. Alex didn't pause. He spun to her blind side, exploiting the poor peripheral vision Samantha had theorized about. Before Valra could turn her head to track him, Alex delivered a precise strike to her right knee joint, one of the weak points in her armor. The Zentari warrior stumbled but didn't fall. She swung her good arm in a wide arc, trying to catch Alex. He ducked under it and moved again, now positioned behind her. 5 seconds gone, Alex said calmly. The crowd was completely silent. No one had expected this sudden change. Admiral Zorvik stood up from his seat, his face showing the first sign of concern. Valra roared and spun around, her temporarily paralyzed arm beginning to regain function. She lunged forward with both arms extended to grapple Alex. It would have been a deadly bear hug if it connected. Alex didn't try to match her strength. Instead, he dropped to one knee and drove his fist upward into a point where 2 pieces of her armor connected at her midsection. His hand found the gap perfectly. Valra gasped as the blow connected with what must have been a sensitive area on Zentari anatomy. She doubled over slightly and Alex was already moving again. 10 seconds, he said. In the stands, Dr. Wright was frantically taking notes. "He found another weak point we didn't even know about," she whispered to General Martinez. Alex circled Valra quickly. Every step was calculated, every movement economical. He wasn't fighting like a typical human soldier with aggression and power. He moved like water, flowing around her strength and finding every weakness. Valra recovered and charged again, this time dropping her shoulder to ram into him. It was a desperate move, one that sacrificed technique for raw power. Alex sidestepped and used her momentum against her. His hands found specific pressure points on her extended arm. He twisted, using leverage rather than strength. The Zentari warrior's own forward motion became a weapon against her as Alex directed her toward the ground. For the first time in the fight, Valra lost her footing. She caught herself with one knee and one hand on the arena floor. 15 seconds, Alex said. The Zentari in the audience were now standing, their usual stoic demeanor broken by confusion and concern. This was not following any combat scenario they had predicted. Valra pushed herself up, her black eyes now filled with something new, uncertainty. She had never encountered a fighting style like this. The human wasn't trying to overpower her. He was dismantling her defenses systematically, finding weaknesses she didn't know she had. "What are you?" she growled. Alex didn't answer. He moved in again, this time targeting the base of her spine with a precise strike. Valra tried to turn to defend, but Alex had positioned himself perfectly in her blind spot again. His hand struck a nerve cluster that Samantha had identified from their limited scans. The effect was immediate. Valra's legs trembled, nearly giving out. 20 seconds, Alex said. In the VIP box, Admiral Zorvik turned to the human leaders beside him. "This is not possible," he said, his voice rough with disbelief. "You underestimated us," the American president replied simply. On the arena floor, Valra fought to stay upright. Her legendary strength was useless against an opponent who refused to test it directly. She swung wildly, trying to force Alex into a direct confrontation. Instead, he slipped inside her guard again. This time, his hands moved in a blur, striking 5 different points on her torso in rapid succession. Each blow found a gap in her armor or a nerve cluster that human scientists had only theorized about. Valra's movements became uncoordinated. Her breathing grew labored. 25 seconds, Alex said. In the stands, Kyle Bennett shook his head in amazement. "He's counting down," he explained to those around him. "Alex always knows exactly how long it will take him to win once he starts his attack." Valra made one final desperate lunge. With all her remaining strength, she tried to tackle Alex to the ground. If she could just get her hands on him, her superior strength would end this fight. Alex had been waiting for exactly this move. As she charged, he dropped to the ground and swept his leg in a perfect arc that caught both of her ankles. At the same time, his right hand struck upward into the final nerve cluster he had identified at the base of her skull. The combination was devastating. Valra's momentum carried her forward as her legs were swept out from under her. She crashed to the arena floor with a thunderous impact that shook the entire structure. Before she could recover, Alex was on his feet. He placed his knee precisely on a pressure point between her shoulder blades and pulled her right arm back at an angle that would dislocate it with any additional pressure. 30 seconds, Alex said quietly. Valra was immobilized. Any attempt to use her strength would result in a dislocated shoulder. The nerve strike to her skull had temporarily disrupted her balance centers. She tried to move but couldn't coordinate her limbs properly. The arena was completely silent. Thousands of people held their breath. Billions watching around the world stared at their screens in disbelief. Then Alex spoke loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Do you yield?" For several long seconds, Valra didn't respond. The pride of the Zentari warrior class warred with the reality of her situation. Finally, she spoke a single word. "Yes." Alex immediately released her and stepped back. He offered his hand to help her up. The crowd erupted. Cheers, screams, and applause thundered through the arena. People hugged each other, some crying with relief. Humanity would not become slaves. Admiral Zorvik stood rigid with shock. The human military leaders around him were equally stunned, though for different reasons. 30 seconds, General Martinez repeated in disbelief. He defeated her in exactly 30 seconds of offense. Valra slowly got to her feet, ignoring Alex's offered hand. Her black eyes studied him with new awareness. "How?" she asked simply. "I spent 20 minutes learning everything about how you move," Alex explained. "Every weakness, every blind spot, every gap in your defenses. Humans may not be as strong as Zentari, but we adapt. We study. We find ways to overcome." For the first time, Valra looked at a human with something other than contempt. It might have been respect. The Zentari official stepped forward with his ceremonial staff. He struck it against the ground 3 times, the sound cutting through the crowd's celebration. "The combat is concluded," he announced. "The human champion is victorious. As agreed, the status of humanity will be reconsidered." Alex nodded and walked toward the exit where his team waited. Dr. Wright rushed forward to meet him. "That was incredible," she exclaimed. "How did you find all those nerve points? Some weren't even in our data." "I watched how she moved," Alex said simply. "The body tells you where it's vulnerable if you pay attention." General Martinez clapped him on the shoulder. "Son, you just changed the destiny of our entire species." Alex allowed himself a small smile. "Let's see what happens next. This is just the beginning." The next day, Alex sat in a private room at the United Nations building. His body ached from the fight, though he had managed to avoid any serious injuries. Outside, the world celebrated. People filled the streets in every city, dancing and cheering, the victory that had saved humanity from servitude. The door opened and Lisa Rodriguez entered with General Martinez. "How are you feeling?" Lisa asked, taking a seat across from Alex. "I've been worse," Alex said with a small smile. "What's happening? With the Zentari?" "That's why we're here," General Martinez said. "Admiral Zorvik has requested a private meeting with you, just you." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Did he say why?" "No," Lisa replied. "But after yesterday, they seem to view you differently than the rest of us. You've become the human they respect." Alex nodded. "When?" "Now," Martinez said. "They're waiting in the main conference room." Alex stood up, straightened his simple black shirt, and followed them through the hallways. Security personnel lined the route, nodding respectfully as he passed. Word of his victory had spread, and overnight he had become a hero to billions. The conference room doors opened to reveal Admiral Zorvik and Commander Valra. The Admiral stood by the window, looking out over New York City. Valra sat at the table, her posture stiff. Alex noticed she wore different armor now with no visible gaps where he had struck the day before. "Leave us," Admiral Zorvik said to the human escorts. Martinez looked at Alex, who nodded slightly. The General and Lisa left, closing the door behind them. "Please sit," the Admiral said, turning from the window. Alex took a seat across from Valra. Her black eyes watched him carefully, but the contempt from before was gone. "You have created a complicated situation, Alex Carter," Admiral Zorvik said, using his name for the first time. "In 3,000 years, no Zentari warrior of Commander Valra's rank has ever been defeated in single combat by a member of a non-spacefaring species. First time for everything," Alex said simply. The Admiral made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Indeed, our agreement stands. Humanity will not be incorporated as servants, but the question remains, what happens next?" Alex leaned forward, slightly. "You honor your agreements. That speaks well of your people. I think we can find a way forward that benefits both species." Valra spoke for the first time. "You could have broken my arm yesterday. Or worse. Why didn't you?" "Because the goal wasn't to hurt you," Alex replied. "It was to show that humans aren't what you thought we were." The commander nodded slowly. "You fought unlike any opponent I have faced across 12 star systems. No direct force, no wasted movement." "Alex," Admiral Zorvik said, using his first name in a more familiar tone. "There is something you should know. Something we did not share with your leaders." Alex waited silently. "The Zentari Empire is at war," the Admiral continued. "A conflict that has raged for 70 of your years against an enemy far more dangerous than either of our species. We came to Earth not merely for servants, but for soldiers, for allies who might bring new tactics to a fight we are losing." This revelation surprised Alex. "You have a strange way of asking for help." "Our way is to incorporate species according to their abilities," Zorvik explained. "We believed humans would serve best in support roles. We were incorrect." Valra touched her neck where Alex had struck a nerve cluster. Your understanding of weaknesses and how to exploit them is unique. In 30 seconds, you found vulnerabilities in Zentari physiology that our enemies haven't discovered in 7 decades of warfare. Alex considered this new information carefully. Tell me about these enemies. We call them the Swarm, Admiral Zorvik said. They consume rather than conquer. Entire worlds stripped of resources, populations harvested. They adapt rapidly to conventional weapons. Each defeat makes them stronger. That sounds familiar, Alex said. Humans have written stories about similar threats for centuries. Perhaps your people sensed what was coming, Valra suggested. The swarm entered the edge of your galaxy 2 years ago. They will reach your solar system within a decade unless they are stopped. The room fell silent as Alex processed this information. The victory celebration outside suddenly seemed premature. So what are you proposing? He asked finally. Admiral Zorvik placed a small device on the table. It projected a holographic image of what appeared to be a training facility. We propose an exchange, the Admiral said. Human combat specialists to train with Zentari warriors. Your adaptive thinking combined with our technology and strength. A new type of fighting force. And you want me to lead this program? Alex guessed. Yes, Valra answered. You have proven yourself worthy. The first human to earn the title of war teacher among the Zentari. Alex stood up and walked to the window. He could see people celebrating in the streets below, unaware of the greater threat coming toward Earth. I'll need to discuss this with our leaders, he said. And I'd want Samantha Wright involved. Her understanding of your physiology was crucial to yesterday's outcome. The scientist? Valra seemed surprised. She would be welcome. Her insights could prove valuable. Alex turned back to them. I have conditions. This needs to be a true partnership. Equal exchange of knowledge and technology. No more talk of natural order or superiority. Admiral Zorvik studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Agreed. The events of yesterday have adjusted our perspective on humanity's potential. The door opened, and General Martinez stepped in with several other military officials. Sorry to interrupt, but we're getting strange readings from the edge of the solar system. Multiple objects approaching at high speed. Admiral Zorvik's expression darkened. How many? At least 30 large vessels, Martinez replied. Unlike anything we've seen before. Not Zentari? Alex asked. No, the Admiral said grimly. The swarm has arrived sooner than we predicted. Valra stood up, her warrior posture returning instantly. We must return to our ship. Prepare your defenses. Alex looked at Martinez. Get Dr. Wright and Kyle Bennett. Tell them to meet me at Defense Headquarters in 30 minutes. As the room erupted into activity, Alex caught Valra's arm. We need to fast-track that training program, she nodded. Can you teach others to fight? As you do, to find weaknesses so quickly. Some of it, Alex said. But more importantly, each human thinks differently. That diversity of approach is our strength. For the first time, Valra's face showed something like a smile. Perhaps that is why the natural order placed our species on different worlds, so that when the true enemy came, we would bring different weapons to the fight. Alex nodded. Maybe so. Now let's go prepare for a much bigger fight than the one we had yesterday. As they left the conference room, Alex looked once more at the celebrations below. Soon those people would learn that the universe was more dangerous than they had imagined, but they would also learn that humanity was not facing it alone. The 30-second defeat that had saved Earth from servitude had opened the door to something far more important, an alliance that might save both their species from extinction. 6 months passed since the day Alex defeated Commander Valra. The world had changed dramatically. The celebration of victory quickly shifted to preparation for a greater threat as news of the swarm spread across Earth. The Zentari battleship, Conqueror, now served as a training facility in orbit around Earth. Inside, humans and Zentari worked side by side, developing new combat techniques against the common enemy. Alex stood in the main observation deck, looking down at the blue planet below. Dr. Samantha Wright worked at a console nearby, analyzing data from their latest training session. The results are promising, she said, looking up from her screen. The hybrid fighting style is more effective than either human or Zentari techniques alone. Alex nodded. How are the neural interfaces working? Better than expected. Our fighters can now anticipate swarm movements 3 seconds faster than before. The door slid open, and Commander Valra entered. Over the past months, her attitude toward humans had transformed completely. She now wore a modified version of her combat armor that incorporated elements of human design, more flexible with better visibility. Admiral Zorvik requests your presence in the war room, she said. The scout ships have returned from the edge of the system. Alex and Samantha followed Valra through the corridors of the massive vessel. Humans and Zentari moved efficiently around them. The initial awkwardness between the species long gone, necessity had forged respect, and respect had grown into something like friendship. In the war room, Admiral Zorvik stood before a large holographic display showing the solar system. General Martinez and Kyle Bennett represented Earth's military leadership. Around them, a mixed team of human and Zentari analysts worked at various stations. Alex, the Admiral acknowledged him. The news is not good. The hologram zoomed out to show hundreds of red dots approaching from beyond Neptune. The swarm's main fleet will reach Mars in 30 days, Martinez explained. Far sooner than we projected. Alex studied the display. How many? Over 500 vessels, Zorvik said grimly. More than we've ever faced in a single battle. The room fell silent. Even with the combined forces of Earth and the Zentari, they were vastly outnumbered. Show me the swarm scout we captured last month, Alex said. The display changed to show a detailed scan of a small alien ship. Unlike the sleek design of Zentari vessels or the functional approach of human spacecraft, the swarm ship looked almost organic. Its surface was covered with irregular patterns that shifted and changed like a living organism. We've analyzed every inch of this vessel, Samantha said. The armor adapts to attacks, making it stronger each time. Like an immune system, Alex noted. It learns from experience. Valra nodded. That is why conventional weapons eventually become useless against them. Each attack teaches them how to defend against it. Alex walked slowly around the hologram, studying it from all angles. Everyone waited. Over the past months, they had learned to trust his ability to find weaknesses where others saw none. What if we don't attack where they expect, he finally said. Explain, Admiral Zorvik prompted. Alex pointed to a particular section of the swarm vessel. Their communication system. It's not protected as well as their weapons or engines. They don't expect us to target it because disabling communications usually isn't a priority in ship-to-ship combat. But the swarm operates as a collective, Samantha realized, catching on to his thinking. Like insects in a hive. Exactly, Alex said. We've been focusing on destroying their ships one by one. But what if we disrupt their ability to function as a group instead? Kyle stepped forward. A communication virus, something that scrambles their signals to each other. Can it be done? Martinez asked. Samantha exchanged looks with the Zentari scientists. Theoretically, yes. We'd need to understand their communication frequency better. But with what we've learned from the scout ship, it's possible. How do we deliver this virus? Valra asked. The main fleet will destroy any ship that approaches. Alex smiled slightly. We don't send a ship. We send people. The room grew quiet again. A small strike team, he continued. One ship, minimal profile. While our main forces engage the swarm at Mars as a distraction, the strike team infiltrates their command vessel and deploys the virus directly into their communication hub. A suicide mission, Admiral Zorvik said gravely. Not if we plan it right, Alex countered. We've spent 6 months developing new ways to fight. This is where we put that training to use. Valra stepped forward. I will lead this mission. We will lead it, Alex corrected her. Together. For a moment, the Zentari commander looked like she might object. Then she nodded. Together. Over the next 3 weeks, preparations moved at incredible speed. Samantha and the science team worked around the clock to develop the communication virus. Engineering teams modified a small Zentari vessel for the infiltration mission, and Alex and Valra trained their strike team, 6 humans and 6 Zentari chosen for their exceptional skills. The night before the mission, Alex stood alone in the training room. He moved through a series of fluid exercises that combined human martial arts with Zentari combat forms. The movements were precisely controlled, each one flowing into the next with perfect efficiency. "You should be resting," Valra said, entering the room quietly. "So should you," Alex replied, continuing his exercises. Valra watched him for a moment. "6 months ago, I called you a slave. I believed humans were beneath us." "And now?" Alex asked, stopping to look at her. "Now I understand that different does not mean inferior. Your species thinks in ways mine does not. Together, we are stronger than either would be alone." Alex nodded. "That's why we'll win tomorrow." "You sound certain," Valra noted. "I am," Alex said simply. "The swarm adapts to direct attacks. They've never faced anything like us before. Humans and Zentari fighting as one unit, targeting a key weakness they don't know they have." Valra stepped onto the training mat. "One final practice round." Alex smiled. "Why not?" They moved into combat positions. What followed was not a fight, but a carefully choreographed dance, each anticipating the other's movements perfectly. Where once they had been opponents, they were now partners. The next morning, the combined Earth-Zentari fleet moved into position around Mars. Hundreds of vessels prepared to meet the approaching swarm. Among them, a small, modified ship detached from the formation and accelerated away, its stealth systems making it nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. Inside, Alex checked his equipment one last time. Beside him, Valra did the same. Their team waited in the hold behind them, human and alien warriors united in purpose. "Ready?" Valra asked. Alex nodded. "Just like we planned. Find the weakness, exploit it, and be out before they know what hit them. 30 seconds to change the course of a war," Valra said, echoing their first meeting. "That's the plan," Alex agreed. As their ship accelerated toward the massive swarm fleet, Alex thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, Earth had faced servitude. Now humanity stood as equals with an advanced alien civilization, preparing to defend not just their planet, but an entire section of the galaxy. The swarm vessels appeared on their view screen, a vast armada of organic-looking ships moving as one entity toward Mars. The small strike ship slipped between them, heading for the largest vessel at the center of the formation. "Approaching insertion point," the pilot announced. Alex and Valra shared one final look. "For Earth," he said. "For the Zentari," she replied. "For both our futures," they finished together. The mission began.